When humans only live for around 80 years on average, it can be hard to quantify something with a lifespan as long as the sun ever disappearing. Ancient and constant, the sun has been watching over our planet since Earth's creation, but even it can't last forever. This is Unveiled, and today we're answering the extraordinary question, what will happen when the sun dies? The sun, as it is, has so far been shining for around 5 billion years, and it's thought that it's halfway through a 10 billion year lifespan. Despite how constant and immovable it seems, it will, like all stars, eventually run out of fuel and die. Humans will most likely have disappeared too by this point, having either died out ourselves or relocated to another star system, but while we don't know exactly what will get rid of us for good, the sun's steady increase in brightness could be a factor. Right now, it's increasing by about 10% every 1 billion years, which means that long before the sun itself expires, it'll have totally transformed Earth. As the sun runs out of fuel in around 5 billion years' time, its core will get hotter and hotter, but also smaller. Meanwhile, temperatures will actually drop in the outer layers, but those layers will also be expanding. The sun as a whole will become a much larger prospect than it is now, and despite the lower surface temperatures, it would still be deadly hot at upwards of 3,000 degrees Kelvin, which is bad news for the inner planets. In time, the sun will become so big that it'll completely engulf Mercury, Venus, and possibly even Earth. That's 2, perhaps 3 solar system worlds up in flames as the sun officially becomes a red giant. The material being ejected by the expanding red giant is called its envelope, and as it escapes into space, the burning hot core of the sun, still heating up because of compression, is also luminous enough so that all of the debris is visible for thousands of light years around. This fascinating phenomenon is otherwise known as a planetary nebula, and our night sky right now is full of other distant nebulae just like it. They're brightly colored and beautiful clouds of gas and dust, which could eventually disperse to form brand new stars in the future. So even if by the time of the sun's death the human race had long moved out of the solar system to some other distant place, we would be well aware of our original sun's fiery fate. But this still isn't quite the end, as the sun has one last stage to go through. And it's the longest one of all. Once the entire nebula is gone, the burning hot core at its heart is all that's left behind. And it's now, in the very far future, that our sun will turn into a white dwarf. This white dwarf will be many times hotter than the sun ever was, at around 20,000 degrees. So it's an almost inconceivable length of time before all trace of the sun disappears completely. In fact, white dwarfs are so long-lived that we've yet to observe one anywhere that's died. Regardless of what we do, the sun's future is set. After running out of hydrogen, it'll expand before shedding its outer layers in a glorious planetary nebula. Finally, it'll transform into a near-immortal white dwarf, quietly burning away for the rest of its days. And that's what will happen when the sun dies.